Welcome to Fact or Freestyle.
People love Dave Nourie, and they always answer the phone when he calls. When we get him on Zoom, we ask him to confirm rumors.
Let's see how far down the rabbit hole we go.
Yeah, and have you seen those big pegs? They're like twice the outer diameter.
The only ones I remember is the uni pegs that were like this big. They're huge.
Yeah, I'm seeing some that are like maybe 2.5 inches. OD.
Yeah. Who
Oh,
makes
wow.
I don't
makes
know,
them?
but I'm just wondering, does that having more surface, does that help?
Not so much. The thinking with the pegs is the thinner they are, the closer you are to the center of rotation.
Okay.
And so that's why guys like Dominic Nicolini will run super thin pegs. But the larger pegs, really what I hear is guys are just saying it's for foot comfort when they're on the pegs for so long.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Mhm.
Okay, so I have some questions. First off, let's just ask the standard one that we've been throwing out. So what did you do 10 minutes ago and 10 months ago? And what are you going to do in 10 years? Just to throw it out there. Like, what did you do 10 minutes ago, RL?
I was searching for that guy online that said angles don't matter. And I couldn't, I was like, I had to have my son come down and go, click here, click here. I even friended the guy to see, because I just thought that was ludicrous, man, that angles don't matter. And he's a flatland rider. I'm like, and he's basing this on one guy that can supposedly ride any bike. Well, what about everybody else? You know, I mean,
Yeah.
This is going to be an interesting conversation. So that's what
Okay. So what about 10 months ago?
Well, we were just getting into this,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
you know, but is that, you want short answers or can I?
No, whatever. Yeah.
Okay. And you guys can ask me whatever you want.
Oh, that's great. And just another disclaimer. So Joe does all the editing, and he always, he's really good. He'll send it off to you before we post anything, just in case there was something that was said that was, wasn't comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
Or you had second thoughts.
You don't have to send anything to me. Just go ahead and put it out there. You don't have to send anything to me. Just go ahead and put it out there. You don't have to send anything to me. Just go ahead and put it out there.
I figured that's the case, RL.
Yeah.
But just to know.
I mean, hopefully somebody will take something wrong and blow up, and those things last for weeks.
Exactly. That's the idea.
It's like,
okay, so 10 months ago, what were you thinking 10 months ago? What were you doing? You're basically back into things.
Well, I think it's been, my son says it's been roughly a year.
Okay.
Right. So I didn't, to be honest with you guys, I didn't return to the sport. I used to just criticize Facebook all the time because I saw these kids on their phone at dinner, and I'm like, man, and I just lumped Facebook into that. So I figured, if I'm going to criticize it, I should go check it out. Right. So I went on Facebook, and I met all these people, right, that ride and all that stuff. And man, it just kind of took me, and it went from there. And we talk about everything, and so 10 months ago, I think I was just kind of going, wow, this is great. It's getting to know these guys, that I rode with so much, or we were at the same show or something,
Yeah, I just have to chime in on that because I was questioning whether it was really you, RL. I was one of those. And I know you had a few of those. Yeah. I called Brian Blyther. I'm like, Brian, did you and RL see each other at a Pink Floyd contest the day or the evening before an AFA contest? And he said, yes, that actually happened. I said, yeah, but would somebody out there, and would someone know that story? Because there's this guy on Facebook, says it's RL, and I'm not sure. I even called Ron Wilton. And at the time, Ron Wilton didn't think it was you. He's like, no, it's an imposter. Yeah. And I was like, I was reading it. I'm like, I think it's RL. I think it's RL. And I was like, pulling in all my resources, whoever I can call to say, is this really RL or not? So it was really interesting how you came back, because you came back, I feel like, so authentic. Like you had nothing to hide, nothing to prove. You just were like there to check it out. Like you said, like, hey, what's the story with Facebook? I can't be critical of it unless I'm, know what it's about and, what are these people, what makes them tick? And so, and then finally something came out where it was a given. It's like, okay, this is RL. And I was sold and there's no question. But you said something, this is the best line. Look, yeah, I could post a picture of me, but that could have been just somebody taking a picture and posted it on, if I'm an imposter. And I loved how you went with that.
I gotta tell you, that was the best time going through all of those people questioning me. But I go, let me break this down. There's a picture in the corner. Yeah, you're getting really.
Hold on, let me just do this.
Thank you. There's a picture in the corner of me. Okay. But it's not up in the top. They wanted it up in the top left corner. And I said, so all you people that are doubting, if I move this picture 2 inches up, you're happy? And they're like, and this one guy goes, just move the goddamn picture and let's get over this. I'm like, no way. I'm going to ride this as long as I can because it was great. But yeah, that thing with Brian Blyther, man, that was weird.
So tell that story because you were at a concert.
I love Pink Floyd, one of my favorite all-time bands. And I'll tell you, once I saw them live, it's a show where the whole audience is into it, but whatever. And
so what year was it, RL? Do you remember the year?
I have no idea.
Okay, doesn't matter.
I don't have a memory anymore. So it's sold out in the Coliseum. The Coliseum, right? It's like people everywhere, right? And I had a contest the next day, but I had figured out that if I fly in the morning, I should get there, put on my uniform, warm up for 5 minutes, and pros go on, right? And then I knew after the contest, I could get on a plane and head home, And so I was doing this, and I thought it was pretty smart. Like I was the only one that figured it out. So I'm like, yeah, me and Scott Clark went to the concert, and we're sifting through just piles of people, and I run into this guy, and he looks at me, and I'm like, that's Brian Blyther. And he goes, and I'm like, he's looking at me. We just stopped and our friends just walked away. And I'm going, aren't you supposed to be at a contest tomorrow? And he goes, yeah, I'm flying out in the morning. I go, so am I. I thought I was the only guy that figured that out. I mean, sold out at the Coliseum and I run into Brian Blyther.
That was so crazy.
And that he had figured out he was doing the same thing. Fly in, do your run, get on a plane, go home,
Right. That's classic.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay, so 10 years from now, what do you see yourself? What could you imagine yourself doing 10 years from now? You'll be 68.
I don't know what I'll be doing, but I can tell you what scares me.
Okay.
And that's not having something to do, like being retired.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that if I don't have like somewhere I have to be, like people are going to be pissed at me or something if I don't go, I pretty much just kind of fall apart. I'm not one of those people who just sit on the beach and stare at the ocean all day long and just go, man, this is paradise. I just don't get that. So I don't know.
I feel the same way. It's like, I don't really buy into the whole retirement. Like, how could I ever see myself retiring? Like,
yeah,
there's always something that you can, enjoy in life. And so
and they call it the golden years.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, people go to the mall and they just walk around the mall because they don't have anything else to do. And I'm like, when I go to work, my customers are my friends. We talk, socialize, we work, I get exercise, I get paid, and the whole process. And then I work with this guy, Pat, and we just talk all day long about bikes, guitars, music, whatever. And it's really kind of the highlight of my day,
Nice.
So, yeah.
I guess, Joe, we usually would do this too. So 10 minutes ago, Joe, what were you doing?
I was apologizing to Dave for the last minute confusion in the scheduling.
I'm like, what? It just so happens Monday is a freer day for me. Usually I would be teaching, like, because I teach Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I do an after school program with the kids, and I do BMX. I bring all these bikes out and ramps, and I just have them kind of have a little crash course on freestyle. So
wait, you do this how many days a week?
I do it 4 days a week now. I do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then I also do a Saturday session.
At different schools?
No, I just do it at Science Works. So I just promote it through the community. I've been here long enough that I have a.
That is so cool. Is that your job?
Well, it's not. No, it does have a little bit of a revenue stream, but I also have getting the kids involved, and I have really nice bikes. I get all these little size 12-inch, 16-inch, 18-inch bikes, so they have a whole different bike that they can pick from.
Wow.
And I had a 6-year-old, we talked about it on a couple shows back, wanted to learn how to do a Vanderroll. 6 years old. He's like, I'm ready for the Vanderroll. So I mean, it's pretty inspiring. It definitely feeds me. I feel like I'm getting more than just a paycheck, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you figure out it's not about the money.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Joe, what about you? 10 months ago, what were you doing?
10 months ago, I was training with Marty Copa and preparing for EFES. And
Right.
I was grinding myself into oblivion to get that footy.
You were training yourself for what?
The EFES contest.
The Flatland
contest.
Are you a pro Flatland rider?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you really? Oh, wow, man. I got to tell you, man, I can't even dream what you guys do. I watch what you guys are doing now, and I'm just like, oh, it just blows my mind.
Yeah, I call him Sick Man instead of Cis Man because he's such a sick rider.
You mean stiff?
Sick.
Stick, right.
I mean, not stick, sick. Instead of
sick. Got it.
Sick, because it's Cisman, but I call him Sick Man.
It just freaks me out, man. How you guys spin 360s, on like the front wheel, no brakes, and I'm old school, man. Even if I don't use my brakes, it just got to be there,
Right.
But that stuff you guys are doing is, wow, it's impressive.
When I took my brakes, 10 years from now. Okay, 10 years from now. Well, I expect to be riding in 10 years from now. I bought a small house between two farm fields that has a 6-car garage that I ride in. It's 40 by 40. And I got it so that I didn't have to rent warehouses anymore. And so I will, I'm going to ride flat until until the wheels fall off.
Yeah. Do you make a living riding flat?
No.
Do any of the pros?
Not many.
Well, so some of the so like Alex Jumelin, well, his wife works. Alex has a lot of other endorsements. So kind of like how Tiger Woods, the least amount of his money came from. So there's guys who do that, but from contest winnings, no, not really. And there's not really like bike companies, like Flatland bike companies that are generating enough to keep a team going. But guys like Terry Adams, they'll get like 10, 12 sponsors that just sort of contribute, a little bit.
Do you guys, I just heard this a long time ago. I don't know that you guys want it that way. You don't want big companies coming in, or is that true or not?
So part of the, so like we talked to James White, who was in the X Games, and in his view, he hated it because there were cameras in his face. Like that scene in Rocky 3 when he was training in the hotel, that between the cameras and the contest, sorry, the sponsor money, that it kind of perverted the whole situation. And so there's a lot of backlash.
It does.
From that.
I mean, how do you, Dave doing balance tricks and moving all through his bikes, and I'm doing my style. How do you say one's better than the other?
Because of the 15-minute limit that YouTube has started to put on front hop tutorials for channels that have 10,000 followers of 50-plus-year-old men, we had to chop this in several parts. Get that? Anyway, tap the link above to go to the next show, because we had to cut this episode into several parts that you will have to re-weld together. Okay,